everybody! This is Katy Metz
and William Huff,
and this is our presentation on the life and the works of American educational psychologist David Krathwohl. Posted above David's picture are the universities he has attended and worked at over his career as an educational psychologist. This presentation will cover a brief bio, an outline and a summary of his works, as well as the implications of his work on music technology in today's world.
David was born in Chicago, Illinois in the year of 1921. He resided in Chicago for most of his youthful years, attending Hyde Park High School. He would go on to attend the University of Chicago for his undergraduate work starting in 1940. There's little trace of David until 1949 when he was recruited by the director of board examinations for the University of Chicago. The director decided to piece together a biannual committee of educators facing the common problem of the extensive labor that went into preparing comprehensive examinations. This board met twice a year successfully until the publication of what is now referred to as Bloom's Original Taxonomy in 1956, which was co-authored by David Krathwohl. From there, David published several handbooks and articles regarding educational methods and psychology. Since 1965, David has been working as a professor, getting a start at the University of Illinois. He then moved to Michigan State University to accept work as a dean, followed by his final move and current residence to Syracuse, New York, where he achieved the status of Hannon Hammond Professor of Education Emeritus from the School of Education from Syracuse University.
As previously mentioned, David Krathwohl co-authored the Taxonomy of Educational Objectives, or what is commonly referred to as Bloom's Taxonomy. The original work was published in 1956, and 45 years later, David co-authored the revised taxonomy, which was released in 2001. The original taxonomy is ordered according to the principles of internalization and cognitive domain. Internalization is the process where a person's affect toward an object passes from a general awareness to a point where it is internalized and consistently guides or controls that person's behavior. Cognitive domain refers to the categories to which we measure mental skill or knowledge. In 1956, taxonomy set up a cognitive domain hierarchy depicted in this pyramid. The hierarchy is graded from concrete to abstract and simple to complex. They list as follows: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. The 2001 taxonomy makes numerous revisions and adjustments. The same diagram is used to display the hierarchy. However, the wording and order has been altered from its original layout. The structure is now based off of a verb system rather than a noun system. The new hierarchy is laid out as remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Other than the choice of words, the main change came by flipping the equivalents of evaluating and creating. This modified layout has been commonly accepted and used for planning instruction in modern classrooms. In transitioning to Bloom's revised taxonomy that was released by David Krathwohl and Lauren Anderson in 2001, here is a brief overview of the key revisions that took place. The newly revised taxonomy of education better defines how the taxonomy interacts with the various subsets of knowledge. The changed taxonomy uses the classification of verbs rather than nouns in their hierarchy. Lastly, the revision restructured Bloom's levels of cognitive understanding and introduced a new term, metacognition.
During the revision of Bloom's taxonomy, it was demonstrated that the affective or the emotional objectives can also be divided into a hierarchy. Remember that in the original taxonomy by Bloom, the hierarchy was listed as knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, and synthesis. The hierarchy came to be known as the Bloom's noun approach. The newly revised taxonomy is now listed as remembering, understanding, applying, evaluating, and creating, giving way for the new term, Krathwohl's verb. The major changes to the taxonomy are how it intersects and acts upon different types and levels of knowledge. These levels include the factual, conceptual, procedural, and the metacognitive. The first three levels of knowledge were in the original works, but metacognition was added in the revised edition in 2001. The factual knowledge refers to the topic of required knowledge of the subjects. This can be made up of various facts and key words that the subjects must learn to master the topic. The knowledge required to complete a specific task is defined as procedural knowledge. The context of the conceptual is the ability to identify and comprehend principles while understanding the essential relationships between them. Finally, the new word introduced in the revision, metacognitive, defines the self-awareness of the individual and their skill set.
We have previously discussed the hierarchy of cognitive domain. Now, let's touch on the taxonomy of the affective, otherwise known as the emotional domain. For the affective domain, written in the revised taxonomy, there are 5 stages which are listed as receiving, responding, valuing, organization, and characterization. There can be multiple meanings to many words, so here are the definitions of these terms as defined by their context in the works of the educational taxonomy. Receiving means being aware of or attending to something in the environment. It is the stage of being aware or sensitive to the existence of certain ideas, material, or phenomena, and being willing to tolerate them. Examples of these are to differentiate, accept, listen for, and respond to. Secondly, responding means showing some new behaviors as a result of an experience. It can also be measured by commitment in some small measure to the ideas, materials, or phenomena involved in actively responding to them. These examples are to comply with something, to follow, to commend, volunteer, or spend leisure time. The third trait, valuing, is defined by showing some definite involvement or commitment to something. Being willing to be perceived by others as valuing certain ideas or materials. Examples of these are increased measured proficiency in something, to relinquish, to subsidize, to support, or to debate. Organization correlates to integrating of a new value into one's general set of values, giving it some ranking among one's general priorities. This means relating the new value to those one already has and bringing it into harmonious and internally consistent philosophy. Discussing, theorizing, formulating, balancing, and examining are all activities of an organization. Characterization is demonstrated by acting consistently with the new value. Furthermore, acting consistently in accordance with the values that the individual has already internalized. Examples of these are revising, requiring, rating high in value, avoiding, resisting, managing, and resolving.
You might be thinking, thank you for the psychology presentation, but what does this have to do with music technology? Well, David Krathwohl's research has helped advance our understanding of how the human mind perceives, stores, transitions, and processes information into knowledge. There are numerous applications for this area of study. For music and technology, there is the development of user interfaces for digital audio workstations, keyboards, mobile devices, or any other digital interface involving a music application. Krathwohl's research can aid designers in creating user-friendly applications that will not only help them sell their products, but ease the customer in their pursuit of musicianship. Of course, there are educational benefits for music teachers and therapists alike. The educator can draw upon these concepts and methods to combine them with music technology and help their students and patients. There are many more applications, such as instructional guides, music and technological functionalities, teaching technology, and material presentations, all of which play their own unique role in music technology today. The taxonomy that David Krathwohl has co-authored has been widely accepted and is world-renowned among educational psychologists. Both of the works he co-authored have been translated into 22 different languages for peer review and implementation in numerous settings. We would like to thank you for your time and patience during this educational experience, and please feel free to ask us any questions that you may have. We will end our presentation with the sources that we base our research off of. Thank you again and have a great night.